You're acting as a midwife today.
Yeah.
I think I'm a spectator that thinks they're a host.
Well, I think Kim is doing us a favor. Kim is doing us a favor by going, oh my God, I didn't know that, because there's so many things. If we look at the normal physiology of normal birth, at the actual physiology of what goes on, that we've already said that it's best to move in labor. We've already said that a woman should be not on her back, but be up in any different position other than her back. And these are the things that validate normal physiology. And one of the amazing things about water birth is, okay, the mom can have that ability to reach down. The baby actually floats in the water. And
how do you know it's alive if it's floating?
Well, we know it's alive because it's got a heartbeat. And
who's in the water measuring the heartbeat?
The midwife.
This is a full-service bureau. We've got a midwife in there. We have the birthing mother and a floating baby.
She's leaning over the tub.
Kim.
Yeah. Please clue us in.
Yeah,
I'm clueless.
Let's not make light of the subject because.
Oh, I want to make light of the subject.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. It's all right.
I'm being reprimanded over the air, but no. But seriously, no. But the reason I said that, Barbara, is that if you go into people's imagination of what it actually sounds like. Think of it. You're saying that the baby's going to be floating. You're also saying there's a midwife in the tub.
There's not a midwife in the tub.
Oh, there isn't?
There's a midwife
okay. Present, okay.
That tub is a sacred space for the mother, often the father. Go out to my website, waterbirth.org, and look at the photographs. And look at the photographs of the babies' faces when they're just born. These babies are alert. They're awake, they're aware. I've seen babies underwater open their eyes and stretch their limbs and say, oh my gosh, that was tight and cramped and now I can stretch out. I call the birth tub an expanded womb, a womb with a view. They're still connected to the placenta and the umbilical cord. They're still getting oxygen. And within the matter of no more than 10 seconds, someone scoops the baby up very gently, places it in the mother's waiting arms. And you know that the baby's in a safe and steady state because all throughout the birth, all throughout the labor, you've been listening to the baby with a fetal Doppler. It's a stethoscope that is specially used underwater. And you can hear that the baby has a good heartbeat, and we don't deliver babies underwater who aren't in a good and safe and steady state. If there's a problem with the baby during the labor, the mother exits the tub, she gets out, and then you proceed with the birth in more of a medical fashion if there's any problem whatsoever. This isn't something that we do haphazardly. This isn't something that we recommend for all women across the board because you have to be healthy, number one. For a woman to have the options of a non-medical birth, she has to be in a non-medical position. So we're not saying that every baby across the world, that we should abandon cesareans and all of that. We're not advocating that at all. We're advocating a combination of high-tech and high-touch that gives the woman autonomy to birth her baby the way she knows innately how to do and respects the baby as a conscious participant in this birth process.
That's very evolutionary. There's going to be people, for example, my younger sister Jackie had a C-section. She had 2 boys, twins. And probably if I were to share this with Jackie, she would say to me, well, if I had to have a C-section, I may have lost my babies, my young boys, had I not been in the hospital. So, quote, thank God I was in the hospital for that to happen, when, in effect, it could very well be that she went into needing a C-section because of the way the entire birth process was undertaken from the beginning. Am I correct?
Well,
yes.
Yes.
Possibly?
Yes, on the bigger picture. We cannot, we can always use anecdotes to make points, but what we do know is that the C-section rate in this country is obscene.
Didn't it grow? Didn't it grow significantly? What is the statistics on the growth rate?
Was it the 70s when it was 5%?
It's 1965. It was 5%. And
Suzanne Arms wrote a book called Immaculate Deception.
Mm-hmm.
enraged that the C-section rate was in epidemic proportions. It had reached 11% when she wrote her book.
When I went to France in 1984 to meet Frédéric Laboyer and Michel Audin and view their hospitals and look at what Michel Audin created in the hospital, it was a general hospital way out in the farm country, 100 miles south of Paris, in a place called Pithiviers. In Pithiviers, they created what they called a salle sauvage, which is a comfortable room for women to be in so that they didn't feel like they were in a hospital. No obstetric bed, pillows all around, and like a double wide futon, rocking chairs and cradles for the babies, and it was very, very pleasant. And then they pull a curtain, and there's a large 5-foot round, 24-inch high bathtub. And the women got into it to ease their labor. Why did they create the salle sauvage? Because they were worried about the threatening increase in C-sections to 7%. It was a way for them to normalize the labor process, to take away the things that threatened women. Because what do women need during labor? They need quiet. They need darkness. They need to create their own little cave that they can go into in their mind. You don't want them in their cerebral cortex. You want them in their hindbrain or their reptilian brain that says, every woman before me for the last billion years has given birth, and I know how to do this genetically and chemically and physically. And the more you de-stimulate the birthing environment, the easier it is for a woman to go into that place. And that's why the birth pool is so good, because it creates this safety net for her. It gives her a sacred space that she goes into that her provider does not go into, maybe her husband goes into. They can be intimate in that space, and she can birth her baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuning into It's Rainmaking Time. We are streaming this segment on Gentler Birth on the World Wide Web. We will be up on a satellite broadcasting soon, and we are here with Barbara Harper and Roberta Scare, and we are talking about water birth and safe birth choices. And also at this moment, we are talking about the escalating statistics having to do with C-sections. Roberta, you said when we spoke last week that in other countries of the world, was it Argentina, there's a 90% C-section rate?
Actually, according to the Wall Street Journal, China is the highest overall rate at 47%, and Puerto Rico and Brazil have 45%, according to some obstetricians that I met. There are, however, many city hospitals where almost every woman has a cesarean. And there's a hospital outside Denver. I just heard about a new hospital where the cesarean rate is 80%. So, but you look at the national rate. So, I mean, this is not normal. It cannot be good for mothers and babies.
It can't be good for the insurance industry either, who we would all think would be very interested in what you're doing.
We pay for this. It cannot be good to have major surgery performed on most women's bodies to have a baby be born with all the risks. And there are risks. There's a brochure called What Every Pregnant Woman Needs to Know About Cesarean Section 2004, put out by the Maternity Center Association, that you can get by going to maternitywise.org.
MaternityWise, yeah, W-I-S-E. Wise up, women. Take back your birth is what they're saying.
It gives all the data that a woman could possibly need to say. It talks about risks and benefits of vaginal birth and some cesarean birth, but the comparisons are accurate. And in fact, do I need to tell our listeners, it's better for a woman and baby if she has a normal vaginal birth.
But, there's listeners who are going to be thinking they want the ultimate protection. There's this whole gestalt, which I know you both know, around protection, safety, and what that means. And people typically transfer, both men and women, protection and safety. They transfer over that power to medical practitioners and have been for many, many years.
Well, there wouldn't be organizations like the International Cesarean Awareness Network, ICANN. There wouldn't be organizations like that. There wouldn't be the fight that we're having right now if women just decided to accept what medicine is offering and say, sure, let's cut every baby out. It's safer. It's not that. We are a process-oriented